told you I miss your smile. I thought of you as a friend you can't let go. But when you left, I could feel it grow. Like a body of water. That you're the edges of my soul. It's getting harder. You was never under my control. You know. I see the door you closed is open wide, and a better version of me inside. Let me stay there for a while. I feel it now when I see that's why. Like a body of water. That you're the edges of my soul. It's getting harder. You was never under my control. You know. Some things change, you're lost and found, you'll come forever. But this is what you are to me. Like a body of water. Let go the edges of my soul. Let it go. It was never under my control.
Hello everyone and welcome to Work+Love Live. Checking my mics. Think we're good there. We saw the subscribe button. See if I can get it to go again. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. This is how we make sure that you know when we're going live. It's so interesting, during the stay-at-home mandate, I made the commitment to do this 120-day Qigong challenge. That was more so for me to have a daily practice and really get in the habit and instill that. Yesterday, my husband asked me what I'm going to call that after it's over. And I was like, what are you talking about? After 120 days, it's over. And he's like, you're not going to do it every single day? No, I'm not going to do it every single day. It's so much effort to live stream every day at 7:30 in the morning. Today I was at 6:30 in the morning and trying to set those things up. So, but yeah, so if you are part of that challenge, if you subscribe to our channel, you get the nice, beautiful little pings when I'm going live at 6:30 and 7:30 in the morning for the next, I think it's like 50 days before we're done with the 120-day challenge. And then after that, we kind of spread out. We do a weekly Yin Yoga class. We do a weekly Qigong, restorative Qigong class. So all set on nourishing and taking care of your energy meridians. And then obviously on Wednesdays we do Work+Love Live, where we talk a little bit about the work that we need to do to stay aligned, to stay in tune with the highest vibration that there is out there, which is love. And then we show ourselves some love by doing a little simple Qigong practice that is all focused on our energy and making this happen. So, yeah, this layout is new. We're still working on cameras and lighting and set, and I'm getting pretty close. It's a little overwhelming. I have so many screens and it's just me, to make sure that I can see if you're chatting and see what you're seeing, and then also what the production software is doing in the corner. And so give me grace as I learn this skill set and master these cool new tools that we're evolving and getting into. So this week, episode was called My Side of the Street. And it was generated by this Abraham Hicks teaching, which was, I inhibit no one. We each create our own reality. I inhibit no one. We each create our own reality. And so I wanted to talk about this concept of we each create our own reality. In the show notes, if you go to the website and read my blog post for today, or maybe you already did because I think that gets posted a few minutes before we go live, I talked about how there was this friend who posted a reaction to seeing these social media posts. Essentially, long story short, regardless of what issue they're talking about, the issue at hand is that they were saying that people's realities were lies, and discounting it, which is interesting. Let's just say that is interesting, because when I say that someone's reality is a lie, that is coming from my own personal lens. It's coming from my own personal place of what my reality is. So there's the twists and the turns that's present. Is that when I'm saying that I don't believe in your reality, it's coming through the lens of my reality. And when this card presented itself, it really resonated with me, a core teaching that was taught to me when I began this journey for personal and professional and self-development. When I started this journey, I quickly became connected and felt aligned with the teachings from Gabrielle Bernstein, who's a spiritual teacher out there. She's also a teacher of the metaphysical text of A Course in Miracles. She's the one that introduced me to them. She has a whole bunch of books out there. She is my mentor and teacher through the gift of her art and works that she shares with the world. In one of her books out there, she shares a exercise called Clean Up Your Side of the Street. And I thought it was really fascinating to listen to her perspective and putting it in the analogy of of your side of the street, of looking at your home, because that is your reality. It's your home. It's your home base. And she put it in the perspective of not really having a right, which, I can make the argument that you never really have a right, but not having a right to judge or to look and think that you fully understand someone else's reality until you've taken care of your own reality, your own home, until you've had all the weeds ripped out of the yard, you've taken care of all the renovations and all the leaky faucets and everything, until your home is 100% in perfection. You have no right to look across the street and judge anyone else's yard or anyone else's progress in their home. And so you never really have the right to judge, because there's none of us that are perfect. None of us get to that state of perfection. None of us do. None of us do. And so what she says is in this exercise, she shares basically taking the time. She asks you to generate a list of 10 items that you can clean up, that you have to own. This is the one exercise that I've always struggled with. To get that list of 10 is really hard. It's really digging deep and really owning up to some things that you need to clear. This exercise speaks differently to me now in the times that we're currently in. Whether you want to process it through the lens of the pandemic and COVID-19, whether you want to process it through the very real racial injustice that is happening and what that means for where we are, and what we have to own and take responsibility for in order for change to happen. We have to clean up our own house. We have to own our side of the street in order for it to happen. I read this article and I wish that I had saved it, because I want to share it with all of you, and I'm actually going to go dig for it, because I want to put together a nice little resource list of things that I have been finding really helpful during this time, have really been impactful resources for me to process on so many different levels, and I want to make that accessible to you. So I want to go find this article. But in this article, it was really highlighting, as someone who is not Black, someone who will never fully understand what it's like to live and have those experiences. What can I do to help? What can I do to help to manifest change if I believe that enough is enough? How do I take a stand? And this article laid out really beautifully these 3 steps, which are the common steps that we see whenever we're trying to manifest change or transformation. You have to get clear with who you are and your identity, and then you've got to educate, and then you can take action. And those first 2 steps are meaty. And I know in regards to racial justice, I have not done enough education. I've not done enough of owning my side of the street, of the things that I have to clear up in regards to my racial identity, my diversity stories in general. All of that I need to get clear on before I can even begin to really understand how I can take actions, for me to even begin to have the knowledge and the the courage that in the moments when I'm really going to be called and challenged to stand up and say enough is enough, these things have to be in order. Our house has to be in order, and not perfection, because perfection's not possible. But I gotta get close. I gotta at least take care of a few items. And that's the one thing with this exercise is cleaning up your side of the street that Gabrielle Bernstein shares. I could never get to 10. I would start working through maybe the 5 items that I had there, and I'm certainly not perfect, but I was working on myself. I was clearing away, and as I would uncover other things, I would add them to the list, and it's kind of been this ongoing list and this approach to my own personal and professional development, to my own spiritual development. And that's the same thing here, is you get to control your reality. You know, the way you show up, the way you communicate with others, the way you choose to show up in moments and the ripples you put out there will have an impact, will have an influence on other people's realities, but you don't get to control it. You also can't control whether that person is ready to receive or not receive. And so the only space that you can control is here. This is the only place that you can control is here. So I say that because I want you to ask yourself, you know, what are those things that you need to add to your list? What has to be cleaned up on your side of the street? What do you have to own? And with all the things that are happening right now, like I said, these are uncertain times. These are turbulent times. These are times with huge potential for change if we are paying attention, if we're willing to do the work. And what things do you have to add to your list that you need to clean up, that you need to look at? In the show notes for this, I shared that right now my list centers around 2 themes: my racial identity and my lack of education regarding Black history. And so I'm shifting my reading lists to immerse myself in some of the literature that has been highly recommended so I can understand. I'm not a history buff, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to read and I'm going to educate myself so that I understand what these milestones are, or these, I shouldn't say milestones, but these touch points along the historical time frame that have built the systems or solidified the systems that we're currently experiencing. I also am doing a lot around the work of what all this means in terms of me as someone who is half white and half brown. And do I classify? I don't think I've ever really given myself a racial identity. I've just kind of shown up and been in the presence and been in the space of however others wanted to define me. And I think it's really important now to be clear about how I view my identity and have an awareness of that. So I say all this not because I know everything, but these are the things that are showing up on my list. These are the things that I'm actively processing, the work that I'm actively doing, in hopes and encouragement that you too are inspired to clean up your side of the street, to own your reality, and know that you have control over your lens, and to forget about the other lenses, and don't believe that you have a right to go stomp on their realities. Don't discount those realities. Instead, welcome those realities as something that can further your growth and your development. I found that when we are commonly in a place of judgment, when we are judging others, we are putting up our own barrier so that we can't experience the growth that is intended for us. these beautiful educational moments that are meant for us, we're letting them just go right on by and feeling okay by justifying it by judging. All right. So let's get into our practice. So our practice this week, I think, once again, hearing a lot about anger and irritation, and I want to be helpful in that space. And so we're going to do some healing sounds around that, around anger, which covers irritation and frustration and rage and all of that balled into one, so that we can get to what's underneath it. And a lot of it is pain. A lot of it is grief from a lack of understanding, from a learning, from an unlearning, from all of it. And to do that healing work. But to do that, we need to release this anger. And so we're going to do that using this healing sounds. So we're going to do some deep breaths. When we inhale, we're going to imagine filling ourselves with this emerald. Then we're going to shoo it out. And we're going to do it at a normal tone so we can actually hear that vibration. These vibrations inside are bouncing around. That are going to cause this tension to release that's associated with anger, irritation, rage, that whole bucket. Okay? So wherever you are, get situated in your seat, preferably with your feet flat on the ground, spine is tall. Noticing your breath as it comes and goes out of your body. You're going to close the mouth, allowing the breath to come in and out of the nostrils. Belly rising on the inhale and falling on the exhale. The next inhale, fill up the belly, imagining the breath that's filling the belly is this healing emerald green color. When the belly is fully expanded, hold just for a moment, and then let's go ahead and exhale on the sound. Shoo. Inhale again. That emerald green color, hold. Shoo. Inhale. Hold. Shoo. Inhale. Hold. Shoo. Again. Shoo. Breathe in. Shoo. Let's do 3 more. Shoo. Again. Shoo. Again. 1 more. Shoo. Good. Allow the breath to return back to normal. Bringing your awareness back to the space that you're in. And when you're ready, you can gently begin to open your eyes. Good. Awesome. All right. So last but not least, let's reveal our teaching for next week. So this is the card that I pulled. Abraham Hicks. The lesson is, I look for more reasons to appreciate. The episode for next week is called Give Me a Reason. We're going to talk about reasons for appreciation and gratitude and how they are delivered by the universe. So it should be a great time. Thank you so much for joining me today for Work+Love Wednesday. I hope that this served you. I hope that the work inspired you and spoke to you so that you know the work that you're meant to do this week. And I hope that the practice gave you a little bit of love to take care of your personal energy and nurture and restore yourself so that you can continue doing the amazing work that you're doing. Thank you so much for having a heart. Thank you so much for showing up and doing what you do every day in the capacity that you've been called to do. And thank you for doing it at the highest vibration of all, which is love. I will talk to you next week if I don't see you in a class sooner. Have a great day. Happy Work+Love Wednesday. Bye.